Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daryl and Boo Show for Monday, the 4th of January, the first episode for 2021. How are you feeling about putting 2020 behind you, Boo?
Yeah, it was, we had a very interesting year, of course, but probably the highlight of the year was spawning the Daryl and Boo Show. So, we can be thankful to 2020 for that and everything that it brought, besides all the negatives that came along with it as well. How about yourself?
Yeah, and it's funny. It's hard for me to look back. Obviously, it was, like you said, it was an interesting year, but it's still very difficult for me to kind of look back and not feel extremely fortunate. There's very little, if nothing, to complain about from my perspective. But having said that, certainly always looking forward to kind of new adventures and opportunities in 2021. How was your weekend? It was a bit of a quiet week, I think, with a lot of people on holidays. So did you take advantage of that and get outside?
Yeah, what did we do? We got outside yesterday. We went skiing yesterday. Last night we got the weather was pretty sketchy. So, I'm always looking for pockets of dry weather to go riding in, mountain bike riding, and the weather was very unpredictable. I mean, I could look at my weather app and it would be the complete opposite of what's even showing on the weather app on my phone.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of hit or miss, but otherwise the week what did we do? We did a couple things. New Year's Eve, we went up Grouse Mountain. When was that? I guess that was a few days ago. But we went up Grouse Mountain, so that was interesting. They've got their skating rink open, and they have a nice walk through the lights that you can do. I would recommend hiking boots for that. I had boots on, but they weren't that grippy, and I felt multiple times through that. But I mean, if folks want to bring up a pair of skates, or you can rent skates there if you want to stand in line for a little bit. But it's pretty fun time up there. So we did that. Otherwise just tried to enjoy some downtime. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was pretty quiet and relaxed. It was actually really nice. I got caught up in a bit of work this week, but it was, it was almost like a little mini vacation this week. So just kind of looking forward to getting back into the swing of things and feeling super refreshed. We were kind of out every day doing something, same as you, when get a break in the rain, go out for a run, or we'd go out for a walk somewhere. And but yeah, it was definitely nice and kind of feeling refreshed going into the new year here now. But speaking of lights, I know my wife has been trying to talk me into doing, I don't even know if it's open anymore, but P&E had, for those people who couldn't kind of do the light show, you're not allowed to walk around. So they have a drive-through light show at the P&E. I'm not even sure if it's still going now, but maybe if that's gone, we'll try and do the Grouse Mountain one, because I think that would even be nicer up on the hill. They're still going for a little while.
Yeah, totally.
So I think we got our good friend Peter Scheffler waiting in the wings. There he is.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, Peter?
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. How was your New Year? Did you stick close to home, or I imagine you did?
Yeah, very close to home. Pretty much everything in Ontario was closed. So I was looking at Boo's video this morning of skiing, and Ontario is the only place on the planet where they've closed ski hills as well. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, my daughter and I got ski passes because we were going to go. We were thinking of going away for Christmas just up to Collingwood. If anybody knows the Ontario area, it's a sort of a ski area resort. It's like a 12-month resort. And we had rented a condo up there for the 23rd to the 28th. But with everything locking down, we ended up canceling that and just staying home. but we had ski passes at another ski hill. We thought, okay, that's not bad. We'll go for a couple of days. But when the lockdown happened on Boxing Day on the 26th, they closed ski hills, which was different because golf courses were open in the summer, even when things were locked down fairly tightly. But they're not. There's no plans to open them until, I guess, the beginning of February now. So we could get out there, and we have a skating rink here in town. Getting on that was next to impossible. They're limiting it to 25 people. So, it's almost, you go there and there's just wait lists. So we put our names on the wait list 4 or 5 times and no luck. So we stayed home, and, but it turned out to be a fun, relaxing time, and got some stuff done around here. And, a few walks, took the dog for some walks in some parks, and you can't complain with how Christmas went. So there's a lot of people a lot worse off. So
yeah, absolutely. And I can't remember a Christmas kind of season that was just more chill and relaxing than this one too. So I kind of take that as a little bit of a positive. We were forced into it, but usually you come out of it and there's travel and all that sort of thing. You're rushing around to see people and get stuff done, and it was nice just to kind of go at a slower pace, at least I thought.
Yeah, that's sort of what we thought too. We sort of, 3 of us sit and have dinner. We're like, this is okay. This is not rushing around. We're not, picking up and running over here, and it was good. So, in retrospect, it turned out well. So.
Yeah. So I take it your son never made it home then for Christmas?
No, nothing. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be I would imagine a fair amount of quarantining involved with that too. So we're just staying in our bubble. I haven't seen anybody face to face since before Christmas, I think. Other than maybe somebody on the street or in the grocery store. So without a mask, let's put it that way. I haven't seen anybody since before Christmas.
Right.
Seems that the politicians in Alberta kind of forgot that COVID was actually happening right now. There's a bit of a.
It all started with the finance minister here in Ontario. That was quite the revelation. So there's a bunch of people that have disappeared, and they're like, nah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Yet he made a post on his Twitter for Maple Syrup Day, for vanity, I guess, even though he wasn't in Canada at the time.
Yeah, that I think is forgiven. I think I don't think that was anything that he was planning to hide the fact he was there. They have. You're a posting man, so you probably you line some posts up once in a while too. So that could have been what that was. Who knows?
Yeah,
could have been. Yeah. Actually, speaking of, so that ice rink, this is actually leads into something here that I brought up. Kyle McKay, our colleague over in Calgary, purchased one of these. We need to get an update from him, but this is an ice rink that you can set up in your backyard. You can buy of different sizes and make your own ice rink with it. Apparently, it sets up in an hour.
Wow.
Is it? Is it
real
ice?
ice?
Is it real ice or?
It is real ice. So the hour doesn't include freezing the water, but you can set up the rink itself.
Yeah, I saw on I don't know on TV there's actually synthetic ice now. You can.
There's that commercial, the Canadian Tire commercial, right? With the sledge skaters. Yeah, sledge hockey.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that was actually I assume that was the actual synthetic ice they were skating on, but it looked real, and it seemed like skating was, pretty effortless. So
a few years ago, when I started to get a little more serious about learning how to play hockey, I took some power skating lessons on a treadmill. And it was the plastic synthetic ice basically, and it's a treadmill built to to skate on, so that it tips up and you have to skate. And it was quite a workout, but it works really well. You skate on it with real skates. Eventually, it wears down a little bit, but I'm sure they have to replace those more often than not. But I'd be interested to see how this, like a big, rink, that's maybe 20 by 40 or whatever those are. That's kind of what the size looks in that commercial, be 20 by 40, maybe 40 by the 30 by 50 kind of thing. How often you have to replace the pads. But this looks cool. I know a lot of people that do have backyard rinks, and there are a lot of different systems, but an hour is pretty good. I know a lot of guys take a week to set theirs up. So,
yeah, a friend of mine is a realtor out in Chilliwack, and one of the homes that he was selling a few years back, actually, out in Chilliwack, the further east that you get from Vancouver, the bigger property that you can afford, and the basement was actually turned into a small rink for the kids to practice in. With cement walls and stuff, so they could shoot away down there and skate around down there just fine. So maybe it's that same surface that you're talking about. Maybe
friends of when my son was younger, I guess probably 12, 15 years ago. One of the people on the team was friends with Cujo, with Curtis Joseph, and he had a personal rink at the time, and in a barn in the back with a little Zamboni, and it was a full rink, like only NHL players could have, I guess. And they got to play on it one time, and it was quite the experience. That's a couple levels above what a backyard rink or would be. When you have an indoor rink or your own barn, that's next level.
Yeah. I grew up playing hockey, and I was always a little bit jealous of all those kids across Canada outside of BC that literally in the wintertime could play hockey every single day, whether it was on a pond or a backyard or community rink that was you just had access to 24 hours a day. I never was jealous of the temperatures required to facilitate that, but still.
Yeah, Victoria, you don't get a lot of days like that, do you? It would be about a week and a half, and the ice really would be kind of mushy.
Yeah. Huge advantage for all those Canadian kids, though, that just could play at their will, which is pretty cool. Oh, this is maybe leveling all that off.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So actually, Peter, I just saw your note there. Something that you've been working on over the holidays here that we could talk about as well, as you've been developing a game or remixing a game.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I decided I want to get back into a bunch of different hobbies, and one of them is get back into some serious programming. So I in pretty much the whole pandemic since March, I've been dabbling in programming this and programming that. I programmed a thing that did some cipher stuff, so did some AES encryption and decryption, which was fun. I did a couple other things, and then I started to get back into game programming, and I wrote a game in Python using Pygame, and I'm now porting that to C# and Unity. I used to do a lot of C# programming, before I was with F5. So it's pretty much all I did for 12 years. So it's fun to get into the gaming side of it. And some games I wrote, or not I wrote, I literally typed in when I was 12 or 13 back in the early 80s. On my VIC-20 on my Commodore 64, they're still pretty valid. So I came up with a new version of it, and stumbled through a whole bunch of different problems. And I have a bunch of things on my whiteboard that are to do, but it's something to to get back into programming. It's something I enjoy, and so which means learning a whole bunch of different stuff. So the thing I sent you was some pixel art that I'm doing now for the game. So little guy that walks and stuff and animates him, and a couple other things that I've done. So there's a whole bunch of people on YouTube that just do, that are single game developers this might take me 5 years to write. I might spend an hour on it one week and 40 hours on it the next week. Who knows? So it may never come to fruition, but it's something to keep me occupied.
Cool.
That's cool. So here's the guy that we've got here.
Oh,
Actually, the animation. How do I get this to play in here?
I on my Mac, when I clicked on it in the folder, it animates, but when I opened it, it shows me the individual frames. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
funny.
animate
So
because it's a work in progress. I literally been watching the World Juniors with my iPad, drawing little guys. So it's been some good hockey on World Juniors. I'm sure you've been watching it, Daryl. Keep me
absolutely
busy.
It's funny. I watched more non-Canadian games in the lead up to the playoffs here, and I'm just super impressed with how some of these other countries like Germany and Switzerland are just every year get better and better. Two of those German kids, well, that whole line I think was in the top 5 in scoring before they're eliminated. But
I was talking with one of the other SCs this morning. He's a guy in Jersey, and he's a huge hockey guy. And I honestly think if Stützle was on the States or Canada or something like that, he'd be the number 1 scorer, and like he definitely is in the running for the player of the tournament. I just think it's really impressive to see what Germany's done.
Yeah, no question. So yeah, obviously be watching Canada versus Russia today. What are your thoughts? You think I think it's going to be a close one, like it always is, but
yeah, I think Russia's going to their downside is going to be they're not very disciplined. We're going to score a couple on our power play that's going to make a difference. Our team pretty good, not taking penalties. They're letting people try to ski it up to them and take the penalty. So hopefully we can keep the power plays on our side of the fence, and that'll be the difference in the game, I think.
Yeah,
because the skill wise, Russia's good.
They are. Yeah, they always are good, and I think I assume US will come out of the game with Norway, but who knows? Norway's surprised Sweden a little bit. But that'll be a tough one if Canada gets through to US are also pretty talented.
Yeah. It's been a good tournament. I was actually looking to go to Sweden next year, but I guess that's not happening for another 2 years. So we'll have to push that off for another year.
Yeah, funny. We've been talking about that also. And also now that it is pushed off for another year, might even give us the impetus to plan for that a little bit more, because that city that it's being hosted in, I can't remember the name of the town, but it looks like a kind of a beautiful, kind of not so large town. And I think it'd be a fun holiday to check out the Canadian games and do some traveling while you're there.
Exactly. I mean, it's probably not a destination I would choose. Like, it's not like you're saying, we're going to go to Sweden. It's not something you would say, but it would be, a nice way to knock that off the list. And I've always wanted to go see a World Juniors, and that would be, that'd be a country to go see it in. I heard the Czech last year was like, I had some friends who went on Facebook, and I did not hear a bad word about that tournament. That they did a great job. So
yeah, I imagine the same will be for Sweden too. So yeah, I think we're going to seriously look at that.
Yeah, cool.
Nice.
There now he's in it.
Yeah, just a tip from Bill Kempthorne here. But like you were mentioning as well, opening it up in Finder. So there it is, the minor dude. Very cool. You know what? I got into a game, if my kids are listening to this, with them so there's something called Roblox. I don't know if Daryl, you probably don't play Roblox. Peter, I don't know if you play any Roblox. So it's there's Minecraft, which is like a building game. It's like Lego. Basically, you're in this world and you can create things out of different blocks. And there's a creation mode, or there's like an actual game mode. Roblox is like a platform as well. So it's also like a building type game, or no, it's a blocky type game. So the graphics aren't overly complicated, which means it can play on any platform. which is nice. It's very accessible for everybody. But at the same time, it's a platform where anybody can build a game and then present the game through the Roblox platform. And so people have built all sorts of different games in there. And so I was looking at it from the perspective of, hey, maybe I can figure this thing out and help my kids create a game or something. That'd be a fun exercise for them, because they like playing games in there. So I'm sure they'd love to design their own game in there. And my middle son is working on his own game. I think they've actually tried to create a game maybe 10 times and maybe haven't gone through past the 50% point of actually completing something, but that's okay.
50% is more than 99% of the people ever get. So
yeah. But we worked on or they were playing a game called Cruise Ship Tycoon, and so I got into that with them, which is you build cruise ships basically, and you're trying to meet the needs. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. They're it's a simulation as opposed to the real thing. So you can get your fix through that. So you're building these cruise ships. So one thing we learned was that, and if anybody ever grew up playing something like SimCity, a simulation game where you have a town and you build a town and you meet the needs of your citizens, there's usually a fast forward type mode. So, you've done all the building that you want to do. You can click fast forward and move forward in time. Well, these games, they're free to play, and the idea is that to get more turns or to accumulate more money, you have to wait. And so the rub is that you're sitting there having to have your game open, and you can speed it up if you insert coins and pay some money towards it. Well, it turns out you can't just let the game sit there, first of all. So that's also part of the rub. It will count you as idle if you are not touching the keyboard for 20 seconds. So in automation fashion, I went out and found an auto clicker, and there is no bot detection on Roblox. And so I just have a clicker that's just sitting there clicking the screen every 10 seconds or so. So we got to find out whoever covers the account of Roblox needs to go talk to them about this automation problem that is being exploited right now from my house. It's actually sitting on a laptop back there, but there's a bot clicking on your game right now, and I'm accumulating. I'm at $160 million in this game. It's sitting there 24 hours a day.
Nice.
A good lesson for my kids, though.
That's awesome.
Circumventing the system.
Well, if you're not cheating, you're really playing, right? You're really trying. So,
yeah. Well, see, I don't count it as. I talked through the ethics of this with my kids, and I was like, I don't really think of this as cheating so much, because in those old games, they did have a mode where you can speed things up. But with games nowadays, it's not like a perpetual game that you've bought. The games are freemium, so they want you to just be in the game and then but convince you that you need to insert coins so that you progress further along in the game, when that was always a free function. And I guess, everybody's got to make their money somehow, but I'm not really playing for high stakes here.
Well, they're probably getting ad revenue because there's ads popping up and they're being displayed. You're just not clicking on them, so they're making some money. So yeah.
Cool article that I saw, actually, Peter, and this is close to you, is have you heard of this guy, Vishnu?
No.
So he works at Vaughan, Ontario.
Yep.
Tim Hortons, 7 days a week. He is apparently a super cheerful guy, cheerful to the point where he works there 7 days a week. He had to drop out of, he was taking IT at York University, had to drop out due to finances. So he's currently working at Tim Hortons. Mm-hmm. He's a noticeable guy, I guess, to the point where people have opened up a GoFundMe to raise money for him to get back to school.
Oh, that's cool.
That GoFundMe was set for $10,000, and so far they've raised $21,000 for him.
Oh, nice.
On there, which is it's pretty neat. Bathurst and Rutherford.
Rutherford. Trying to think. Bathurst and Rutherford. I know roughly where that corner is. I'm trying to think if I've ever. I think I've been to that Tim Hortons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure that it was legal to work 7 days a week, but apparently it is.
Yeah, I think there's some. There's probably some sort of hourly thing or something. Who knows? I think some of these big companies have some interesting tax or labor law loopholes they can take advantage of.
Yeah.
Good for him working 7 days a week. I mean, that's I'm sure it's not something he likes to do, but kudos on the commitment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up hours.
A lot to be said for just having a positive attitude. Things come your way when you least expect it.
Yeah. Speaking of Tim Hortons, the Tim Hortons 2020 most popular donuts list was revealed.
Of all time or for 2020?
For 2020.
Okay.
Overall Canada top 10, Boston Cream.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Yeah, neither am I. That's not my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. Apple fritter, number 2. I would do an apple fritter. My favorite's honey cruller, number 4 there. Light and fluffy.
I am an old fashioned plain dude.
Yeah.
Really? When I grab a coffee, it's that when I'm going on a road trip or something, it's just I'll just have an old fashioned plain. I used to love Dutchies way back when. That was my mom and I would when I was a kid, that was a thing that we always did. And they don't have them anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you, Peter. If I'm going to completely, I never eat donuts, but if I'm going to completely sugar out, I like the maple glazed ones. Also are pretty damn tasty. Yeah.
Yeah, maple fritter. The apple fritters are good. The honey crullers are good. I mean, I can't argue with those three. I'm not a fan of the Boston cream. I don't know. It's not my thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. We will leave off with Bill's got a good comment here. Still call it Vancouver cream. Still better about the 2011 Stanley Cup.
Don't turn any cars over, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll leave.
I like
the hockey playoffs. We've talked about that. Or sorry, new hockey season. We can talk about that on another show. That's exciting. Well, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are the only one that's approved it so far, right?
Oh, really?
That was this morning, I think I heard, or maybe on yesterday that Vancouver has approved it, but Alberta hasn't approved it. Which, I mean, I think Alberta's approving everything these days. Ontario and Quebec haven't given the nod. They're still in talks, and they're confident. I think they said that they had a quote from somebody from the Leafs saying that they're confident they're going to be able to start on the 13th. I guess is that camps open on 13th, Daryl? Is it?
I think actually some of the camps have already opened. I know that some have started. So I think they're actually supposed to start playing games in a few weeks.
That's I thought it was the 20th. I thought it was the 13th.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's right there. The 56 game regular season begins on the 13th.
An all Canada division, which is, I think, super cool. I mean,
that's a win in my book.
Yeah. I just can't imagine Calgary and Edmonton playing each other that many times and what that's going to be like by the time they get to their final few games. It's already heated, but there's mini rivalries, Ottawa and Toronto and Montreal and Toronto, even Vancouver and Calgary. So I think it's going to be really fun this year.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Hopefully they're able to pull it off. I think there's still lots of variables that still have to be dealt with.
I've was talking with one of the guys I play hockey with, the guy that organizes one of my leagues, and we're just talking last week and some work stuff, and we said we probably will do a return to hockey watch party or something like that with for a period or two with a bunch of the guys, because guys that we golf with in the summer and whatever, and said, "Oh, we should maybe set that up. Just no one's going to be able to get together for a while to get to watch games. So do a watch party and watch a period or two, or even a game if it works out." So
yeah. At least it's something to look forward to. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, you doing a pool again, Peter?
I am probably going to do a hockey pool, yeah, and I might actually do it a little differently. I think I might do a pick pool for Saturday nights. So you got to pick games for Saturday nights, opposed to having to do a box pool or something. So, I actually yesterday I was on officepools.com, which is he's a Victoria guy, to see what options there were for that. So, be setting something up soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always fun. I mean,
yeah. I wonder if we could do one for the viewers of Daryl and Boo Show. Interesting.
Yeah. Post our results.
Post the results and laugh at each other. That's really what pools all are about. The $5 is not the thing. It's pointing at someone and saying, "You picked them, really?" which has happened to me in my football pool and my NFL pool. I nearly was in the last of 80 people, and there's 4 of us that do a side bet for wings, and I am serving wings this year. Yeah, I did not do well in the football pool this year.
Yeah, and those playoffs start next week too. So, well, we went a little bit over time, so good to see you as always, Peter. We'll look forward to get to see you live in the coming months here, but great to have you on as always.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, have a good week.
Thanks everyone, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for checking this out today. If you're watching via YouTube right now, go ahead and click subscribe down below. Also click the bell for notifications. That way you will find out when we are dropping a new video or when we're going live. Also, there's darylandboo.com. If you head over to that, leave your name and email address, we will drop a weekly technical newsletter in your inbox every Monday. Also, this is available via podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify. Head over to one of those, hit subscribe, and you'll be able to listen to us in the car on your commute or during a walk or a run. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.